So guys, I was just at the Onvo store and I learned some pretty shocking information. Today is of course February 24th. Yeah, shocking information, guys. So I got some shocking information on demand, also how well they're selling, and also some other general updates about Onvo. So why did I go to the store? Well, I originally wanted to film the fridge slash freezer, which was revolutionary, 52 liters. The biggest fridge slash freezer you can get in any vehicle ever. But they're not showing it off in stores. Yeah, and I asked, is it in any store? Nope, they're not showing it off in any single store, any single Onvo store. Like, this is one of the biggest selling factors for the car, apart from battery swap, and they're not even showing it off. I asked them, why not? They asked because it requires installation, and also because it doesn't come as part of the car. It's an accessory. So they're not showing it off. And also sometimes they might want to see, how big of a storage space you have in that kind of area. Then I asked, well, you have multiple cars in the store. Why don't you have the fridge in one car you can show off to customers, and then have the other one just not have the fridge and you can show off the cavity that you can store things. And the sales rep, she said, oh, that's a great idea. I'll tell my bosses about it. So one of the biggest selling factors for the car, it's not being shown off. And of course, Onvo stores, they have lots of screens and posters. None of them ever show about the fridge slash freezer. So again, it's like how a lot of people go to NIO stores, go to Onvo stores, and they don't really know about battery swap. They're just looking at it as a car. They're just looking at it, and they're not really seeing what it offers beyond that. They're not really seeing battery swap. They're not really seeing the fridge. All right? So that was really deeply disappointing. Now, when it comes to sales, I hate to say it to you guys, but I asked them, what happened to the orders that you guys all got when the CEO said orders were exploding, right? The pre-orders when they launched the car. And they said, well, most of it has already been digested. So you heard that right. Most of the Founders Edition cars have already been digested, meaning the people that bought the cars, pre-ordered the cars on launch date, when they said orders were exploding, apparently have already been digested. And that there were, already 30,000 Onvo owners out there on the road. And that kind of corresponds to back then when orders were exploding, right? Orders were exploding, 30,000-ish pre-orders, and right now you already have 30,000 Onvos on the road. So what does that mean for demand going forward? I asked them. Well, it just means that they're going through the natural sales process. They're just showing cars, selling cars, and they are indeed still selling quite well. There's still a lot of people buying the cars. Now, in Beijing specifically, because I'm in Beijing, I asked them, they said actually a lot of their customers are waiting for the license plate. What? So, yeah, you heard that right. Customers, they ordered the car, but they can't take delivery of the car until much later. And this is exclusive to Beijing, all right? Because they have to wait until the license plate permission gets allowed. And that's, in my opinion, oh my God, people gotta wait even longer. Oh my God. So I also asked about what the whole entire situation with the 3-year 0% interest was, because Onvo is a fairly new car, and with new cars you generally don't see these kind of incentives. You're not really going to incentivize a brand new product. You're only going to have incentives if it's not selling well or if it's old. And it's not because it's not selling well. Let me make that very clear, okay? It's because NIO has 5 years 0% interest. And Onvo, as a sub-brand of NIO, NIO has 5 years 0% interest, and Onvo doesn't have it. It doesn't sit well with the Onvo owners. So it was sort of, they did it in the sense to make sure that Onvo owners don't feel left out, and Onvo buyers don't feel left out. So that's why they have this incentive, 3 years 0% interest. Otherwise, they wouldn't have incentives at all. Now, a big shocker is the fact that the Onvo L90 will actually debut in April, very soon in April, at the Auto Expo. And they will actually show off the car right there and then in April. However, they won't deliver the car directly on April, of course. They're going to have a separate launch event later on, but they will showcase the car in April. So that's going to be very nice, and people will be able to see the car and anticipate this car and perhaps hold off buying some other car and perhaps buy the Onvo L90. Now, in terms of demand in general and just talking to the sales reps, the test drive car is very, very busy. Like every day there's test drives all the time, and there's lots of interest in the car. And actually, most of these sales reps, they told me like everybody in the store has at least like a few orders, and they're just yesterday, the sales rep I talked to, she said just yesterday she had a customer buy the car. And at the end of the day, it is a very cheap vehicle. It's a very affordable vehicle that people tend to really be fascinated about. So there is very good demand. However, pre-orders that were orders exploding back then, they've been mostly digested. It's just natural progression. Now, what about deliveries? Why are deliveries kind of low? And she said it's because they were just having Chinese New Year. Everybody's like, not here. People couldn't take delivery of a car. People working in the factories are on vacation, all that kind of stuff. So you do expect deliveries to recover in the coming weeks, and people are indeed still buying the car. They are buying the car, not still buying the car. More people are buying the car. And in my opinion, I think it's just plain boring for them to just have two of the same cars placed in the stores. Why not have one of them fully decked out with the fridge, freezer, and also with like all the different accessories? Like you have different storage accessories, the table, all this good stuff. Why don't you place it out there and let people be able to see it, right? And that might be what wins the customer over. You got to show them the product with the accessories that you can buy, and then they can make and know that this car goes beyond than what the car is. You can get much more out of this car than just the car itself. So I think that is a strategy that that they need to employ, because they can't just have empty cars in the store. That doesn't really look good. All right. So I'm actually going to contact upper management and give them that suggestion and tell them that why not showcase all of this good stuff inside the store so that people can actually see it for themselves. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.